I'm going to start by reading the Dreamer of Cups, clarifying it with the Seven of Wands, and then I'll move on to this part in just a moment. The Dreamer of Cups contains moon and sun, light and dark. I don't feel like I'm supposed to read this whole thing. Stability comes at a high price. Stretch further, delve deeper. Dislodge from the great Jed pillar, which bestows stability and safety. The continual balancing is evident in decision making as she looks to all directions before committing. As a great romantic, she can be led by her dreams of perfection that may or may not match reality. As a realist, she can allow thoughts to bring her to unproductive detours, missing the great romance due to uncertainty and fear. Action and inertia are at odds with decision making. She holds all within her form, and yet the heavy burden of balance demands clear vision. A great romantic who falls in love easily before carefully looking in all directions. This card refers to a successful choice in love, bringing insight and successful resolution to situations. Okay. I feel like this King of Wands is something that is presenting as stable, that you're trying to be stable within. It's actually causing great distress within you. I don't know if this is like a business, if this is a place, if this is like your work, or just your, you know what it feels like is how society views you. Like you feel like that's stable, and what is changing is you choosing to take care, what do I want to say? You choosing to move away from that because another direction is calling you, where you actually feel like you can take care of yourself. You feel like you're addressing these things that keep going under the radar to like feed whatever that is. Because you think you're feeding into its stability. But it's not a stable thing for you. And what feels, I think, more true to you and what feels right for you is where you can meet yourself in the middle of nowhere or in the middle of a giant crowd. Like, it doesn't matter where you are. It doesn't matter when you are. There's no rules to meeting yourself, like, anymore. I think you go in this direction and you feel it's so turbulent when you forget to love yourself by taking action on picking up things that you're genuinely connected to. It feels like this almost effort, this last effort in you is being used to feed something that you think could stabilize you, but it's probably the very thing that disrupted you in the first place. Like you probably were stable at some point, and this thing came in and it was, it gave you a sense of who you were. It gave you an identity. It gave you it gave you something you didn't have before. Maybe it gave you a spotlight, or like a chance to be seen deeper, or maybe not deeper, but for more than life was seeing you before that. It filled like a role, you know? And you're actively deciding to move away from it. But the thing is that when you don't understand that, I'll say it this a different way. When all your focus goes to how you're moving away from this thing and creating distance between you and it, you think you're moving away from your stability. What's actually happening is you're creating space between you and what destabilizes you. And that's a very different narrative, I think, than maybe the one you've been telling yourself, like versus how you really feel. I think how you really feel is that it's worth it to figure out how to be yourself in another form, even if this is a workplace, to just kind of change, like to just present that. It feels better than to try to uphold something you don't feel resonates with you. Because what happens is that you're almost removed from yourself when you are, I'll call it, performing. And I don't think you like to be removed from yourself. I think there's something you're connected to that makes it worth going through all of these difficulties that you could be facing, or just this really feeling of like stuck or discomfort, or like everything is, you know, I don't know if congealing is the right word, but everything is just kind of hovering in discomfort, and you're like, oh no, I'm moving away from stability. Like, it's almost like you think that this is, you know, you think it's going one way, but you feel it's going another, and it's really hard to trust that feeling. But I think you're going to do it. I think you are doing it. I think that spaces like this that let you feel that feeling strengthen it, and you remember how strong it really lives within you, and it gives you some quiet confidence to keep walking in that direction, because you realize where you appear to have all of this power, you actually feel like you have none, like you're stripped of it. It's like being in a spotlight, but for a reason that you don't even understand why that's connected to you. Like, you don't feel that way, but somehow everyone receives you a certain way, you know? Anyways, let's see what, I don't even know if I want to read this card. Let's just talk about the Seven of Wands. Actually, I'm going to use this deck to kind of talk about it. I know that sounds weird, but just bear with me. That should be my motto, 2024. Or forever. Just bear with me. Okay. What is that feeling? There's something you're doing within this space that people don't recognize about you. And it's like, I don't want to say that it's killing you, because that's, you know, maybe a bit dramatic, but I think it actually hurts you to be known for something that you're not, and then for everyone to not see who you really are. I don't know why that feeling is here. It's just kind of, I mean, like, I can't really justify in my cards why that feeling is here. It's just that's what I feel when I look at this card connected to these. So it just kind of feels like there's something in you that if you feed it, it grows. Like, it's like a quiet, almost like under the radar thing about you that's actually, it kind of knocks this out of the water. It makes whatever you feel was stable, what you're walking away from that you felt like was your stability, it makes it it kind of makes it a non-issue. You kind of rise above that feeling and you go, my stability has always been with me. It's just when I think that my stability is with something else that I feel separate from it, or that I feel like I'm separating from it. And I feel like in your quiet self, in your alone time, you feel very good in that energy. You feel very confident in it. You feel like you solve problems before they become problems in it. You feel like you can manage anything with that energy. But out kind of to the naked eye, I feel like you have this, it's a barrier that you feel like you can't be that way in public or something, or in your daily life. I don't know what I'm trying to say there, but it feels like you haven't had a chance to apply this into, like, in a way where that's what you would be seen and known for. It's like other people see your ability to do many things at once, to start things and see them through. And like, people know you for, I think, your longevity in things, and for like all these things that don't matter to you. They add to who you are, but they're not the main course. They're symptoms of who you are. And I think it's like, you're like, how do I just get to this point where I can walk away from whatever that is and believe in myself and just go forward that way? And I think that, I mean, I don't know that that's what you're actively trying to do. Here's what I think, how that process unfolds is that when you're in your own space and you can think how you truly think, and you can think your own thoughts, and there's no expectations that you've put on yourself, you just kind of free to flow. I think what you find you're naturally drawn to is kind of addressing self within things that didn't include you before. Like, I don't know, like if something ruffles your feathers, I feel like this is where you go, okay, so my feathers are ruffled. What do I need now? It's like taking care of self in your own way, in your own space and time, but it's a way that doesn't feel like accepted by the public or understood by the public. I don't really know how to explain it, but it just feels like you don't feel free to do that when you're around other people. But when you do it, you're like, this works. That doesn't. Like, you could give me every physical piece of evidence that this other thing creates stability in my life by proving its longevity, by proving, don't know, like the first instance that kind of comes to mind is like if you have a high credit score because you have consistency in payments, because you have like taking care of your credit over the years. It's almost like that's what is so great about you. Like those are the things that people are like, wow, ooh, ah, like that's amazing. And you're kind of like, I don't know, like that's a part of who I am, but you're missing the point, you know? Like the point is that I stick with things that I'm invested in, and good things happen because of that. And there's this other thing that I'm invested in, and like I want good things to come of that. But I just don't know how to say it's not my credit score, it's my mind that I've been working on. Like it's almost like you're moving from a place where there's physical proof of things to there's mental proof of things. There's internal changes. There's overcoming barriers within self. There's the ability to talk about things. There's this ability to analyze and, what do I want to say? Like, find clarity and a sense of control within your life. And that's the new thing that's blooming for you, that you feel like is better than whatever that is. You're like, been there, done that. It didn't bring me what I needed, or it brought me to where I needed to be, maybe, but it's no longer serving its purpose in that way. I'm going somewhere else now. Like that was a stepping stone. So maybe we bring it back and say thank you, but still bye. And then you go towards what it is that you feel, more so than what it is that people see. And it just seems so like insignificant when you think of the comparison of how people are going to view that, how they're going to view your life overall because of that. But for you, it makes the biggest difference, and you're like, but now I view my life in a better way because of that. And that's really, I think, difficult to explain to other people, or I don't know about you, but I always feel scared when I do that. Like, I'm not good at intros, and I said that in my previous video. In this video, I just didn't have an intro. That was literally me putting into action my own belief, is that I'm not good at it. Why should I do them? Stick to the cards. I'm better at that. Like, I have no desire to do an intro. It just feels forced when I do it. And it feels scary, but then it feels more like you as you progress. And you go, oh, it was just scary because it was different. Because it's not what I've heard about the algorithm. Because it's not what I've heard about, if you add a preview in, if you add a hook, if you add, a numbered list of things that we're going to talk about in this video. Like, it almost sends this message like, oh, you're not going to be successful. Like, to other people, you're not going to be seen as successful. I don't know. But when I do this, it's like, well, I feel like I got to the point of my reading, and that's my personal success. Like, now I can move forward. Now I can, just understand that that's a part of me, and I don't need to push it away because it's different. I think it's like, it's every little change that you make can be almost like painful to try, or just feel like you're not doing enough, when actually you're challenging yourself and putting it into action, and that's more than enough. That's the way forward. I think I'm kind of getting lost in my own thoughts here, so I'm gonna bring it back into the cards. Okay, you have this Seven of Wands that, I don't know why, it's just kind of like, I feel blank when I'm looking at it. I feel like normally I get a message off of the cards pretty quickly or surely, and the Seven of Wands, it just kind of feels like the message isn't there. Inner inspiration. Okay. I'm gonna do something kind of different and read the Knight of Pentacles, but from this deck, from this book. I just feel like that's, I don't know. Maybe I feel like I'm not ready to read the Seven of Wands because it feels like bland, and I'm not going for bland. Maybe bland feels bad and that's the barrier. But I feel like I just want to read the Knight of Pentacles and see what happens. So Knight would be the Spirit. The Spirit of Pentacles is represented by the Axis Mundi, the tree of life with roots going deep into the earth and branches. Hold on, I need to, sorry. All right, just like with the other one, I don't feel the need to read all of it. I'm kind of like skipping around. So the light of the sun and the watery depths of the moon are established and foster growth and health. Seeker is a true student of life. As branches continue to grow and extend beyond the heights, so do the roots spread beneath the ground, seeking new places to settle and migrate. Spirit of Pentacles propagates from his place of origin, as the innocent, which is the Fool in this deck, makes the journey from birth through the many places of learning. Seeker is urged to understand that there is a time to stand firm as well as a time to move. They must not cave into pressures of lower standards or expectations, but neither should they stay bound to dry and decaying beliefs which, like dead branches, yield no life. The tree of life faces them directly, yet they may look either to the past or the future, unwilling to face what is necessary to move ahead. Okay, I'm gonna read the Seven of Wands. I'm convinced. By the way, I don't know if anyone is just like, what is this girl doing? But I read for myself, and if it's your reading too, that's great. But I just record readings that I do for, like, I personally seek a moment of understanding with myself and feeling content. You know, I come to readings because I'm not feeling that way. And when I reach that feeling, that's kind of how the reading ends. So if that works for you too, that is honestly like really mind-blowing. And if it doesn't, then, you know, it's like you kind of just read my diary. So I'll probably feel very exposed. But anyways, it helps me. That's the point I'm trying to get to. All right, the Seven of Wands. In a reading, a dedicated, selfless person, inner wisdom and sight leading to the manifestation of good deeds on the physical plane, professional success, a philanthropist, humanitarian and environmental issues are championed. See, why are we scared of that? That's kind of interesting. I'm going to read a little bit of this. I'll just kind of skip around. Hold on, let me actually turn. My heater just kicked on. feel like there's something else with this. You know what? There is this feeling where it's just kind of a lack of confidence in oneself, almost like it couldn't possibly be as great as that. Like, it could feel great for me, but how would other people receive that? Like, how would that translate? How does that, like, is that even possible? It's two separate worlds, you know, like that's what it feels like. I feel the need to say they feel separate because you feel separated from self in that one and connected to self in that one, but you're in both. I don't think they're actually separate worlds. I think that they are the same world and they can be integrated, and this can actually be the main thing, and it can come off as bland and it can come off as quiet, and it doesn't have to come off as showy, but it's like there's more to this picture. There's more color to you than you realize. There's more going on than you can really see. Where the thing you don't see is that when you lean into this quiet power energy that's true to yourself, people see the love that went into it, the love that you're able to receive because of it, the creativity that it took in a long-term sense, the creativity that kept flowing from you to get to that point, like an unending stream of it. This ability to move away from things that seem like stability but that aren't, and to find it within self. I think like people do see all of it when you can integrate it. But when you don't feel like you can, it's almost like all that anyone can see. I want to keep this on top. I can kind of easily get to it. All that anyone can see is that, wow, their life must be great. You know, like, wow, great, cool. That's why you don't feel anything from that. There's no gratification from someone seeing one aspect of you that you don't even resonate it. You resonate with that energy, but not in the same way that people are receiving it. So it doesn't really feel like it's you don't feel personal power from what people give you the benefit of having power in. Does that make sense? You feel personal power by using this to get to this, or by enhancing this. I don't know what I'm trying to say, but you see personal power when all of you is present, and that something you truly believe in, something you truly connect with, was seen by you all those years. It was fostered by you. It was tended to because you took interest in it. And in an odd way, your life right now might feel like you're like a side story in it. And I think what's happening is you're just becoming the center of your own story. And from that is where all of your personal power is going to reveal itself. Or maybe you're kind of revealing that by following yourself, and then you become like, what comes first, the chicken or the egg? I don't know. But that's what I see happening here. And all these things that look so like boring to be, so like, I don't know, it just almost feels like someone gave up, right? Like that's what you're scared you're going to be viewed as. It's like you're giving up on something that could be really, really great, but for other people, which is not the same thing as great for you. And you're able to feel that now and advocate for something better, for something different, for something more true to you. So like you go this kind of not very exciting way, but this way that's very true to you. And I think that might be a barrier. That might be overcoming the barrier, is that before, what kind of fueled that space for you was that there was like some kind of a spotlight or some kind of an identity around it that was exciting, that was, you know, magnetic, it was all the things that you really are, but in just a more outward way. You're still all those things, just in a more inward way. And people can connect with you in either, you know, like just because things are inward does not mean you're closing off to other people. Oftentimes it means you're opening up to people in a more real way. So anyways, I'm just read the card. The House of Self. Oh, and then I just want to preface this. I feel the need to read this because I feel like this is the barrier, is it's really difficult to accept good things coming from our own intuition, coming from that space inside us that really does like speak to us on a level that other things in our life don't. I think that the barrier is actually that good things come from that, the belief in that. I don't think the barrier is that nothing comes from it and you got to go a different way. And I think it's that you could be like scared to pick up success for something that you feel would be small to everyone else, but is huge to you. Don't make that a joke. Okay. The house, hold on. No. House of Self becomes a palace of unending beauty and possibilities. The innocent has traveled from the naivety of birth along the rivers and roads of time. The journey has been a long one, with many detours and disappointments. Many lessons were learned, and now the innocent has arrived at the road where the goal is in view. The light at the end of the long, dark night of work. Behind now are the many challenges, the hills and valleys of tears and labor. One has reached the tower of attainment in the garden of abundance. The innocent is weary, tired from the long travail. Sorry. This is a card of service and sacrifice. The seeker is one devoted to reaching truth, dedicated to the betterment of all, giving freely of themselves. The eyes of intuition are focused upon the mission and do not deviate through the trials that accompany the seeker along the way. Pain and loneliness are often the seeker's only companions, yet the eyes look beyond the physical discomfort. They manifest the selfless spirit in the physical world as creativity flows, filling the waking reality in the service of others. I'm telling you now, you reach more people in this energy than you can in that. People might be more, I guess, instantly drawn to that energy, to celebrate it, to assume it's great. But people are just as magnetized to this energy, but they dip their toe in and they see what it is and they actually step in. And I think that's how this manifestation of, inward becomes external. What you feel and resonate with inside of you becomes the life that you've created and I guess like the places that you're a part of. And I just want to say, like, I think it is scary getting to that place, but I think each and every time we show up as we are, pushing through those barriers, whether there's something good or scary on the other end, just kind of unafraid to find out because it's really us. I think each and every time people are absolutely grateful that that's how we show up there. So that's where I'm going to leave the reading. Thank you so much for being here, and I will see you in the next video.